and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of A New Go of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrisanthon, and joining me today is a friend of mine, Mindy Lepp. Mindy is the co-founder of Lepp Design. Welcome to the show, Mindy. I am so excited to have our conversation today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, per usual, we'd love to kick things off by getting your story. So, everyone always has such a unique story of how they got into home building. So, tell us, how did you fall into it?
Sure. So my husband and I started our marketing firm back in 2006, just as a generalized marketing firm, serving really all clients all across the board. And about, I want to say 8 to 10 years ago, the building industry fell in our lap. We had 3 clients that were in the industry all at the same time. One is a remodeler, one did metal fabrication, and another home builder as well. And so it was through that I realized, oh, maybe this could be a niche. Maybe we can run full force with that industry. And so it happened accidentally.
We're all here accidentally. So
Yeah.
every single person who just happens to wander into a home building industry somehow. All right, so tell us a little bit about Lepp Designs. Who is the ideal customer for you? Obviously, you're catering to home building industry, but what type of clients do you usually work with?
Sure. So I always tell people that we're really good for those companies that they've reached a point in their business where they're large enough to need marketing help, but they're not such a giant company that they can really justify hiring out an entire marketing team. So they hire us to bridge that gap. It's when you've reached, okay, I know I need marketing, but I know I don't need a whole staff of marketing people. So that middle ground.
And do you typically cater to remodelers, home builders? Is there a type of home builders that you like to work with? Who's your ideal customer?
Sure. So ours kind of runs the gamut within the building industry itself. So we have remodelers, builders, and we also have subcontractors. So we have a cabinet company, a company that does outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. So it really is across the board within the building industry.
Very cool. And so let's talk about some of the services that you provide typically. So is it everything across the board, or what is there something you specialize with? Tell us a little bit more about the types of services.
Sure. So it would be, I tell people always just really everything under that marketing umbrella, from social media management, website design and development and managing, blog writing, press release writing, graphic designs, magazine ads, Google ads management, just really everything. There's been so many miscellaneous things that fall under that marketing umbrella that is fun, that maybe not your normal list of services, but it's just really everything that's to market your company is what we would do.
Very cool. And who's on your team? So tell us a little bit about the team.
My husband and I are the ones that started the company, and it's primarily the 2 of us. And then we also have Katie on our team who's been working with us for, I'd have to add it up, but it's probably 6 or so years, 7 maybe. She does all of our blog writing, and she's really fantastic with marketing as well. So just anything we need her for, she's available to do that. And then we have some other people on our team that we turn to for specialized services, web development, and other things like that. But it's primarily my husband and myself, and like I said, Katie as well.
Very good. So how's that working with your spouse?
It has its challenges, especially when you're together 24/7, but it's also great because you are together 24/7. You can talk about something just whenever you need to address it. So maybe in a normal situation, you'd have to wait till tomorrow at 9 a.m., but we can talk about it at dinner. And so it is really nice, though, to be able to coordinate our schedules together and work together and coordinate our kids' schedules as well, because we homeschool also. So having everything in line and being able to arrange around that has been really nice.
Oh wow, homeschooling. I can't even imagine what that must be like. So I am so excited to get my kids out the door to school. So yeah, I can imagine handling all of that. Kudos to you for that. And you were located in Florida, right? But obviously it doesn't really matter where your clients are since you guys are digital. I assume you service the entire US.
Correct. Yeah. So we've got clients all over California, Alabama, New York, Virginia, where we live here, of course. So it's really all spread out, like you said, digitally. And it's so nice with the convenience of Zoom, like we're meeting right now, to be
Yeah.
able to just go through, hey, okay, let's go through the new website that we're building. And here I'm going to screen share. So it really hasn't been an issue. And even our local clients here will meet via Zoom because it's just easier to, hey, let's just hop on and we'll screen share rather than me come over there.
Very cool. Obviously, you and I have known each other for a few years now, and we actually had a chance to present together at the International Builder Show a couple years ago. So that was really cool. And I know that you've been involved with PWB, but obviously the latest involvement that we're together is through the NAHB, which is National Association of Home Builders Leadership Academy. We're in the same cohort of 15 people that they've selected for the first class. So kudos to you for that, and kudos to me. I
Yeah.
was very excited to see a familiar face in the cohort. So tell us a little bit about why did you decide to apply to the NAHB Leadership Academy, and what does it mean for you to be accepted in the academy?
Yeah, sure. So when I first saw the invitation go out for it, initially, I almost, you doubt yourself a lot of times. And so at first I was like, I don't know, do I even have a chance if I apply? And so I wanted to apply to, it just sounded like a great program. It's the first year they're doing it. It'd be great to be part of their first year, see what it's like, learn more about how to be a better leader. I've been in different roles, leadership positions, but obviously no formal training. So that was one of the attractive reasons. And obviously networking with other people is great, and just being able to learn a little bit more about NHB. But like I said, I didn't expect to be accepted. So I was very excited when I got that email.
So this is the lesson for everybody out there who sat on the sidelines and said, oh, I'm not going to apply to an HB Leadership Academy because I'm not going to get accepted. You got to apply, and the worst thing that happens is they say no, try again next year. So you miss 100% of all shots you don't take, right? The great Wayne Gretzky says. So I love that you applied, and I love that you got accepted. And obviously I'm happy that I applied and got accepted as well. So yeah, I applied for the same reasons. I was intrigued by the academy when the email went out, and I was checking it out, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm attending all these meetings anyway, so I'm going to be there. So I might as well try and go for it. And so far, it's been a very cool experience. Obviously, for me in my role, I pride myself on being able to connect with people, establish new relationships. So for me, it's always about networking. So obviously, I love the opportunity to network with everybody in our cohort and even get to know Carl and Alicia, which was amazing that our current chairman and past chairman of an HB were present for both days of the in-person academy that we attended in Washington, D.C. That was the kickoff meeting. So Mindy, I'd love to get your perspective, your experience on that first Leadership Academy get-together in Washington, D.C. Kind of biggest takeaways. What did you think about the couple of days that we get to spend together?
I really liked how they dug into sort of the personality types, like learning yourself, but also learning how other people work and how they process things so that you not only know, okay, that's my weakness or my strength, but that's how other people, oh, okay, so that's how I should learn from them or how I should talk to them. So we did a lot of exercises around that on our first day, which was fun and very educational for me because I've never really done that before. I know a lot of people have done those personality tests and have their letter codes of
Right.
who
So
they are,
the
but
one that you, the Mindy is referring to is the Myers-Briggs personality test that NHB had us take. And actually, I had posted something on LinkedIn. So you guys, if you want to check it out, go back and you'll be able to find a link to that personality test that Mindy's referring to. I agree with you. I love that because it does allow you to really get to know yourself. And I've taken those personality tests in the past, and it's interesting to see how you actually change over time. Because when I started my career back in after graduating from college, I was in financial services. And I remember when I took the test, I was definitely an extrovert at that time. And now I flip-flop to being an introvert, which I could have told you without a personality test. But we grow, we mature, we evolve as humans, hopefully. And yeah, your personality can change over time. So was there anything surprising for you in that personality test? Or were you like, yep, they got me, that's me?
So I guess maybe weird would be the right way to put it, is that I am definitely not what you would consider the life of the party type of person, but I am definitely an extrovert by the book. And so I knew that about myself already, but going through and answering all the questions, and then they told me that I was, but they assumed I was the life of the party. They're like, you're the life of the party, blah, blah. No, but I do really like being around other people. So
See, for me, it's the opposite, because they assume that me being an introvert means that I'm not the life of the party, which I'm
yeah.
totally the life of the party. But after being the life of the party, I need to go back to my hotel room or back home and just decompress, because it takes a lot of energy away from me. So yeah, so it's interesting. There's definitely some assumptions about introvert, extrovert. I think the truest definition of introvert extrovert is really where you gain that energy, right? Some people like you gain energy from being around other people, where for me, when I'm around other people, it actually drains my energy. And I find that I get rejuvenated when I'm by myself. So that's definitely interesting. And yeah, it was cool how they separated us into different groups to do all the different exercises and activities, and how different groups handle those activities depending on their personalities. And it was very on point how certain people like just jumped in, not reading instructions and just like going for it, and how some other people were like taking account of, let's read all the instructions carefully first and then we get to it. So yeah, that was really interesting. And like I said, for me, the networking part was probably the most valuable part so far of the experience. And Carl Harris and Alicia, they were present in the group. So again, that was really a great experience to actually get some one-on-one time with them and gain their perspective. So one of the things we're working on is we have this big project that we're going to be completing before the end of our graduation, which will be taking place at IBS, the International Builder Show 2025. So we seem to can't agree on what the project is going to be yet. So, so we'll see. But we do have our follow-up meeting. Our second in-person meeting is going to be taking place in DC, which is actually coinciding with spring leadership meeting for National Association of Home Builders, as well as the legislative conference. So Mindy, if you were not going to DC in June for the Leadership Academy, would you still be attending the meetings?
I would, yeah. So I'm this year the chair of the PWB Professional Development Subcommittee. Super long title, if you will. And then I'm also a PWB trustee. So because of those two roles, I was already planning on attending the conference.
Okay. So for those listeners who may not know what this PWB, Professional Women in Building, is, give us a quick little overview of what does it mean to be a trustee, and how the subcommittees roll up to PWB.
Sure. So there's three PWB subcommittees. There's the Professional Development Subcommittee, which is the one I'm a part of, and we help plan the shop talks throughout the year. So we try to do one a month via Zoom, and they've been incredibly successful, particularly over the past year. We've had a really good turnout each time. The topic ideas have been phenomenal, and we usually have two people that are our conversation starters on each shop talk. And then we also, as a committee, help oversee the schedule for IBS. So the sessions that would be in the PWB headquarters at IBS. And then there's also PWB awards and recognition subcommittee. And then there's also a communication and membership subcommittee. I'm trying to make sure I have them sectioned off correctly because they changed recently. But so those are the three. And then we work like under NHB and try to help support them, and they help support us. Claudia is our point person. She's awesome and really helping us function as our subcommittees. And then your other question, I think, was about the trustee. Is that correct?
Yeah, so what is this professional women in building? Do you have to be a woman? Only women allowed? What do what's the main goal of the of that, and what's your role as a trustee?
Sure. So PWB, as you already mentioned, is Professional Women in Building. And no, you actually don't have to be a woman and to be a member. And we encourage men to join. That just helps support us and support everyone as an industry. But the group is really, this is my own description. There's a much better one online in the NHB website, but I see it as just a way to support women within the industry, because I'm sure I don't have to tell people that we are a minority. It's somewhere hanging around the 10% of the building industry is women. Having a dedicated group of professional women in building that can come together, learn from each other, hear struggles, hear how people have dealt with challenges. Being a woman in the industry has been really helpful. And so just knowing, okay, I've got somebody that I can go to, and then I can also attend these shop talks and learn how other people have dealt with these same issues that I'm dealing with. So it's really a great way for us to just learn from each other, and then also know that we've all got each other's backs and we're here, to help. So I think it's just a great group of ladies, and I've gotten to know a lot of the ladies over the years and become friends, and it's just a great support group, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was a PWB trustee in the past myself. Once I had my daughter, I had to make a decision of, okay, I cannot stretch myself so thin. I have to prioritize my daughter and family life. And so I had to make a decision to stay with YP or PWB. And I decided, the YP, I'm gonna age out eventually at 45. You're no longer able to join, or PWB I can come back to. So that was a tough decision, because you guys, PWB threw me a huge baby shower in the middle of the pandemic. Like, I was
Aw.
pregnant, and I had my daughter in April of 2020, which was a month after everything was shut down. Everybody thought everybody's going to be dying. We're all
Yeah.
going to die. And this is going to be this crazy thing. So PWB threw me a huge, virtual shower, and they gave me amazing gift. I didn't pay for diapers probably for 6 months. So the support, the friendships, it was just so incredibly generous. And so it's not just professional support, it truly is like a sisterhood, and a great place to be. So if you're in home building industry, if you're a woman, not just a woman, but especially if you're a woman, it's definitely a great place to come together. And with PWB, it rolls up the same way. So you maybe your local HBA, your home building association, has professional women in building, and then it rolls up to the state level and to the national. But in some cases, even if you don't have a local group, you can just join as national member at large, and then you'll be able to attend some of the events, especially if you're attending International Builders Show or meetings in DC, spring leadership meetings or fall leadership meetings. Then PWB will typically have some additional activities. Check them out, especially if you're planning on coming to DC for the legislative conference and for the spring leadership meeting, which is coming up in June. I want to say it's June 10th through the 14th is the date coming up here. You can just come in, check the schedule, see when PWB is meeting, and just go ahead and sit. Just join the meeting and listen. You don't have to talk, you can just listen and see what it's all about. That's the best way to get involved. And I would say the same way for me. So I'm actually going to be taking over as the chair for the YP committee next year. So I'm really excited about that opportunity. And again, if you're going to be in DC, come in, check when the young professionals are meeting, If you're under the age of 45, the place is for you. And again, I like to call it as like my landing place, my home. It's in the craziness of the International Builder Show or in the craziness of anything. The meetings, if you're coming for the first time, it can be intimidating. It's like your home away from home, where it's a smaller group, it's not as intimidating, and it's a great way to meet people. And so, Mindy, I'd love to get your perspective on the legislative conference. How many years have you been coming to legislative conference? And what are some of the highlights for you from the day? Give us an overview of what it is for somebody who may not have heard about it before or may not know what legislative conference is.
So this year will be my first time seeing what it's like to go around and talk to political, officials. And so I've already reached out to my local HBA and I said, hey, never done this before. I want to learn from you guys. So can I tag along? So I can't tell you from personal experience on that side. I can only tell you about the meetings that Anya was just mentioning, that I would encourage the same. Just go and pop into PWB, pop into YP, pop into any of the subcommittees. Everyone's welcome to just go and check it out. And it's a great way, if you aren't on any committees right now, just to see which one, like Anya said, is your home base. Which one do you feel the most at home in? And it's a great way to just take little sample tidbits from each one and to see which one you really fit into.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started coming to spring leadership meetings. I think 2019 was my first year. And that's what I did. Kimberly Mackey told me like, oh, you should go check out the YPs. And I went in the room and I sat and I was just like, okay, what's going on here? And here I am now next year going to be taking over as the chair for the YP. So that's all you got to do, just show up, see what it's all about, see which committee you like, because there's so many different committees. So the one that I also like to be involved with, besides PWB, is the, gosh, I always forget. I think it's the public relations, not the public relations. It's the, gosh, I'll have to check on it. It's, the one where they decide what type of communication goes on the website, any sort of PR coming from NAHB. I forget, not public relations. Anyway.
I don't know, but it sounds like something I want to be a part of. So you've already,
exactly.
you've already sold me.
That's right up our alley as far as like marketing, PR people. I've had a chance to attend one last year, and so I think I want to go check it out again. And then as far as legislative conference, you guys, that is one of the most exciting days with National Association of Home Builders. So if you've never been, I strongly encourage you to check it out. And you can find more information when you go to nhb.org and just type in spring leadership meeting, and it's going to bring up the legislative conference. So legislative conference is essentially it starts off in the morning. We'll all be together in a huge group and you're going to be briefed. So we're going to have some members of NAHB who are serving as liaisons to our government. They're going to come in and talk about the major issues that we want to talk about. But the best part is when you all come together in a room, they will brief you on exactly what those issues are. They'll give you the talking points, and then you separate into your states. So everybody's like sticking to like whatever your HBA is from, your BIA is from. You're going to be with your state together, and you're going to be walking together. So you're going to be visiting your representatives specifically for your state. And it's like an all day thing. You leave at like 9 a.m. and you come back at 4 o'clock, and they wrap it up with reception afterwards for everybody. And it's just a great day. It's an amazing opportunity for you to meet face to face with lawmakers, essentially people who are deciding our future. And it's our way to really influence these lawmakers to consider our side of the story, because they don't know what's going on. They're in DC most of the time. So we can bring those stories to them and explain to them why this affects our industry and why this is important for us, because they may not have that perspective at all. And so it's going to be my third time, I think, attending the legislative conference. And again, I think it's just the coolest experience to be in our nation's capital, to be able to go into the place where they're making the rules, right? Like they are deciding our future as the country, making decisions for us. And we have a way to really directly influence those decision makers. again, if you live in the area, if you're not too far away from DC, like it's a great opportunity just to come in for the day, even if it's all you can do. Check it out. Learn more by going to nhb.org and just type in Spring Leadership Meetings 2024, and you'll have all the information. And Mindy, I'm excited to see you there because we're going to start off by meeting with our cohort for a half a day. And for the NAHB Leadership Academy, we'll be all together and then going from there. It should be very exciting. A couple of days in DC, and it's always a nice time, right? It's June. Hopefully it's not going to be too hot yet.
Yeah.
To visit DC and to see everybody. Mindy, is there anything that you're working on right now? Any exciting projects or anything that you're talking to about your clients recently that you think is important for home builders to understand, whether it's changes with G4 or anything that you're particularly talking to your clients about marketing, whether it's marketing or just leadership, anything?
As you were talking, I was trying to pick, oh, I could do that, I could do that, I could say that. I'll say this one just because it's fresh on my mind. I'm sure most companies are in this similar boat as far as reviews go. And you're constantly trying to ask your customers, your homeowners to write a review. And sometimes it feels like, what am I doing wrong here? Like I keep asking and they keep not reviewing me, and I'm doing a wonderful job and I've been in business for 30 years. Why do I only have 12 reviews on Google? And one thing that I've been recommending to my clients is to incentivize your employees for positive reviews about them on Google. And so Google says you can't incentivize your customers. So you can't say, hey, Mrs. Smith, we just finished your home. If you review us, I'll give you $100 Visa card or something. But what you can do is have your project managers say, oh, Mrs. Smith, hope you loved your home or your remodel or whatever it is. Would you do me a favor and write a review for us on Google? That would really help us out. And actually my boss gives us rewards if people review us and mention us online. And so one of my clients, they were stagnant with reviews for a long time. And we've been talking about it. And about 2 months ago, he implemented that system with his employees. And it's just like steadily, every day I'm getting reviews, like pretty much, sometimes multiple per day since he started telling his employees that. So it really works. So I'm excited about that. When you see, okay, it is a humongous difference. We went from getting a review once every, every 4 months or so to like multiple per day, sometimes over the weekend. I'm like responding, oh, thank you for the review. Thank you for the review. So it really works. So if you're in that same position, you're struggling to find reviews on Google, that's a great system. It seems to work really well. So
I love that tip. That's such a great advice. And then also an easy way is if you ask them and share the link that takes them directly to it, because Google can be, it could be tricky to find, like, where do I review? How do I do it? How do I, pull up your information? So if you just give them a link that takes them straight to writing the review, that is always helpful. So thank you so much, Mindy, for giving us a little tidbit of advice for how to improve our business visibility. That's definitely a big one that customers are looking for. And so, Mindy, if somebody wants to learn more about you, about your company, and how you can help them improve their marketing game, what's the best way to reach out to you? Is there a website? Plug it in. Tell us.
Sure. So it is our company name, leppdesign.com. So it's my last name, the word design, and then .com. And if you go there and fill out our contact form, it's going to go directly to my inbox. So I will personally be the one reaching out to you, phone or email address. But the website is probably the most direct and easiest way to get a hold of me.
Perfect. And then, Mindy, if somebody wants to follow up with you, maybe about your involvement with professional women in building or anything else, where do you personally hang out on social media? Is there a good place to engage with you?
We have an account on Instagram. It's Lepp Design is our name, and also Facebook. So that makes it easy if you want to find our company on either one of those platforms. I'm also pretty involved in the NAHB PWB Facebook group. So also, if you're interested in learning more about PWB, that's a great way to dip your toes. If you find that group on Facebook, join the group and kind of see when the shop talks are happening and other meetings are happening as well. So you can interact. I'll be there, and other people too that you can meet that are key people. So
perfect. Yeah, you guys, there's so much information out there, so many different resources available to us to help us learn, get better. So make sure you're taking advantage of those resources. And Mindy, it's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. I am so excited that we are part of the same cohort, and I'm really looking forward to spending a little bit more one-on-one time together with you in DC coming up in June. And I hope you guys can make it there. Definitely check it out, see if it's a possibility for you. It is a great experience, I'm telling you, especially if you can come in for a legislative conference. It is very inspiring to be there in DC. So with that, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
bye, thanks.